From the moment Miranda Lambert stepped onto the Kelly Clarkson Show set, the energy in the studio was unmistakably tense. While Kelly greeted her with her usual warmth and a bright smile, there was a subtle stiffness in Miranda's posture that even the most casual viewer could sense. The conversation began innocently enough, with Kelly asking about Miranda's latest album and tour. But things started to shift when the topic turned toward a recent controversy involving her comments at a concert. Kelly, known for balancing lighthearted banter with candid questions, pressed a bit deeper, asking if Miranda felt she'd been misunderstood or if she stood by her original words. Miranda's smile tightened, and her answers became shorter, more clipped. The audience chuckled nervously when Kelly tried to defuse the moment with a joke, but Miranda didn't take the bait. Instead, she leaned forward and made it clear she wasn't there to be cornered on national television. Cameras caught the subtle raise of Kelly's eyebrows, a silent sign that she knew this was going sideways. The tension escalated as Miranda accused the media, and by extension, the show, of twisting narratives for ratings. Kelly responded firmly, but calmly, reminding her that the interview was a chance to clarify in her own words. The air between them seemed to thicken, and even the band, usually quick to punctuate moments with light music, remained silent. By the time the second segment began, Miranda's body language screamed frustration, crossed arms, averted eyes, and an occasional glance toward the exit. Then, in a moment that stunned both the live audience and viewers at home, Miranda abruptly pushed her chair back, muttered something inaudible under her breath, and walked off the set. The audience gasped. Kelly sat frozen for a beat before collecting herself, and producers scrambled to fill the silence with an unscheduled commercial break, leaving everyone wondering what had just unfolded in real time, when the show returned. From the abrupt commercial break, Kelly Clarkson appeared composed, but her eyes betrayed the shock of what had just happened. She addressed the audience with her trademark professionalism, acknowledging that sometimes emotions run high and that live television can take unexpected turns. Behind the scenes, chaos unfolded as producers and crew members hurried to assess the situation. Miranda Lambert, still visibly upset, was seen in the hallway speaking heatedly with her publicist, her voice carrying through the backstage area. According to whispers among the crew, she felt ambushed by the line of questioning and believed the show had agreed to keep the conversation strictly about her music and tour. Meanwhile, Kelly sat at her desk, waiting for a cue from producers about whether Miranda might return or if they needed to move on with the next segment. The audience, buzzing with speculation, leaned forward in their seats as if expecting her to reappear. A floor manager tried to bridge the gap, approaching Miranda backstage and suggesting they could resume the interview with lighter topics, but Miranda reportedly shook her head, saying she was done for the day. In the control room, a decision was made to pivot. The band was instructed to start playing an upbeat number while Kelly transitioned into an impromptu Q&A with audience members. Despite the smooth recovery on air, social media was already lighting up with clips of the walk-off, and hashtags like #MirandaStormsOff and #KellyClash began trending within minutes. For viewers at home, it was compelling live TV. For the people on set, it was a scramble to salvage a show that had gone completely off script. Even as the cameras rolled, the tension from the earlier exchange lingered in the air like static, a reminder that not all celebrity interviews end in polite laughter and hugs. Backstage, the air was thick with tension as crew members exchanged anxious glances, whispering updates to one another while trying to keep the noise down so it wouldn't carry to the live microphones still in use on set. Miranda Lambert, pacing with her arms crossed, spoke in quick bursts to her manager, who was equally torn between calming her down and fielding urgent calls from the show's producers. One producer cautiously approached, offering to reframe the segment entirely, suggesting they could cut the heated part from the broadcast and replace it with a lighter montage of Miranda's tour highlights. But Miranda's frustration was past the point of easy mending. She reportedly felt blindsided by the sudden shift in tone during the interview, which she interpreted as veering into personal territory she had explicitly requested to avoid. Meanwhile, Kelly Clarkson, now off camera during another short break, sat quietly in her dressing room with a cup of tea, replaying the exchange in her mind and wondering whether she could have diffused it sooner. She knew live TV demanded quick thinking, but it was always a balancing act between being a warm host and asking the questions that fans wanted answered. As the minutes ticked by, it became clear Miranda would not be returning to the stage, forcing the producers to pull the next guest forward in the schedule to fill the airtime. Audience members were discreetly informed that Miranda's segment was over, but several could be seen glancing toward the wings in hopes of a surprise reappearance. Outside the studio, paparazzi had already caught wind of the incident, readying cameras at the exit. By the time Miranda finally left the building, avoiding press questions and heading straight for her waiting SUV, the story was already being written by dozens of entertainment blogs. Inside, Kelly returned to the set with her trademark smile, determined to end the show on a positive note, but the charged atmosphere hinted that this particular clash would be talked about long after the credits rolled. The aftermath unfolded at lightning speed as social media lit up with clips, quotes, and wildly differing interpretations of the confrontation between Miranda Lambert and Kelly Clarkson. Within minutes, hashtags combining both their names trended on Twitter, with fans fiercely debating whether Miranda had overreacted or whether Kelly's questions had indeed crossed the line. Some argued that Kelly was simply doing her job as an interviewer, bringing up topics that were already public knowledge, while others felt that Miranda's decision to walk off was a strong stand for setting personal boundaries. Entertainment outlets scrambled to get exclusive statements, with a few anonymous sources from the production offering contradictory accounts, some insisting the tension had been building during rehearsals, others saying it was entirely spontaneous. Meanwhile, Miranda's team released a brief but pointed comment, stating that she had chosen to remove herself from a situation she felt was inappropriate and disrespectful, while emphasizing her appreciation for her fans and her commitment to her music. Kelly's representatives, on the other hand, stressed her respect for all her guests, framing the incident as an unfortunate misunderstanding that had been blown out of proportion by the speed of online gossip. Behind the scenes, executives from the network held a closed-door meeting to assess the potential fallout and discuss how to handle future bookings with high-profile guests, knowing that such moments, while risky, also tended to drive ratings. The show's social media team carefully crafted a neutral post thanking viewers for tuning in, deliberately avoiding any mention of the walk-off. But the comment section quickly filled with thousands of users dissecting every moment. Fans posted slowed-down replays claiming to spot subtle expressions and gestures that hinted at deeper tension, while others created memes poking fun at the situation. Even late-night hosts began slipping jokes about it into their monologues, ensuring the incident remained in the public conversation far longer than either camp might have preferred. In the end, both Miranda and Kelly found themselves navigating a strange mix of criticism, support, and relentless curiosity, with neither side entirely satisfied by the way the narrative had spun out of control. In the days that followed, the tension between Miranda Lambert and Kelly Clarkson became less about the specific words exchanged on stage and more about what the public believed those words represented: issues of respect, boundaries, and the fine line between entertainment and intrusion. Fans on both sides began producing long TikTok explainers, Instagram story threads, and even YouTube breakdowns with side-by-side comparisons of past interviews, claiming to identify patterns in Kelly's questioning style or in Miranda's body language when faced with uncomfortable topics. Country music radio stations chimed in, with some DJs openly siding with Miranda and praising her for walking away rather than engaging in a conversation she clearly didn't want to have, while others criticized her for leaving mid-show, calling it unprofessional and unfair to the audience. Meanwhile, gossip blogs speculated that deeper personal grievances might have fueled the outburst, citing unverified rumors about prior encounters between the two singers at industry events. As media pressure mounted, publicists for both stars quietly worked behind the scenes to control the narrative, planting stories in friendly outlets and steering interviews toward positive topics unrelated to the clash. Kelly, always one to maintain her upbeat public image, addressed the matter indirectly during a later episode by joking about how, "Sometimes you just need to take a coffee break in the middle of a conversation," drawing laughter from her studio audience but leaving viewers to wonder if the comment was aimed at Miranda. Miranda, on the other hand, remained largely silent on the matter, focusing on promoting her upcoming tour and letting her music speak for her, though fans noted that one of her newer songs seemed to include lyrics that could be interpreted as a veiled reference to feeling cornered or disrespected. The incident also sparked broader debates in entertainment journalism circles about whether celebrity interviews should prioritize tough questions in the name of authenticity or respect personal boundaries to preserve relationships. By the end of the week, while the initial firestorm had cooled, the clip continued to circulate online, drawing new viewers and reigniting discussions each time it was reposted. It became one of those moments in pop culture that refused to fade quickly, cementing itself as yet another reminder of how, in the age of instant replay and viral soundbites, no on-air moment is ever truly forgotten, by the second week after the incident. What had started as a heated exchange between Miranda Lambert and Kelly Clarkson had evolved into a full-blown cultural talking point, with opinion pieces sprouting up in entertainment magazines, music blogs, and even mainstream news outlets that normally wouldn't touch celebrity spats. Some writers framed the clash as a cautionary tale about the perils of unscripted television, pointing out that the very spontaneity that makes talk shows appealing also leaves them vulnerable to moments that spiral beyond the host's control. Others treated it as an example of female artists navigating a double standard, arguing that a male guest storming off might have been framed as a display of confidence, while for women it's often spun as emotional or unprofessional. On social media, hashtags like #MirandaWalkOff and #TeamKelly trended intermittently, with fans crafting elaborate memes and parody videos, some reenacting the moment with exaggerated gestures for comedic effect. A few country music influencers began hosting live streams dissecting the body language of both women, slowing down the footage to highlight tense jaw movements, narrowed eyes, and subtle posture shifts as evidence of growing irritation before the actual walk-off. Meanwhile, ticket sales for Miranda's tour unexpectedly surged, leading some industry analysts to speculate that the controversy had inadvertently boosted her visibility in new markets. Kelly's ratings also saw a temporary spike as curious viewers tuned in to see if she would address the situation more directly, proving that even negative press can translate into short-term gains for both parties. Behind the scenes, mutual acquaintances of the two singers reportedly attempted to broker a private reconciliation, suggesting that the clash had been blown out of proportion by the media and fan speculation. However, insiders claim that Miranda was still reluctant to revisit the matter, feeling that doing so would only invite another wave of headlines. Kelly, for her part, was said to be open to clearing the air but unwilling to apologize for her interview style, which she viewed as part of her brand and authenticity. As weeks passed, the tension shifted from fresh outrage to lingering curiosity, with fans wondering if the two would ever publicly share a stage again or whether this was the kind of quiet rift that could last years in the tight-knit world of country and pop crossover circles. Asterisk.